Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker, and this is WPwatercooler's WPblab episode number 95. Man, we're 5 away from 100. That's awesome.
How fun.
Today's topic is situational awareness, when to pause marketing campaigns with our friend, Amy Donohue. Before we go and introduce Amy, we'd like to introduce ourselves. Bridget, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Bridget Willard, and I am a freelance marketer. One of my clients is Pressable, where WordPress works best. If you're having trouble with other hosting engines that are costing you lots of more dollars and didn't give you very much notice, go to pressable.com.
I detected an inside joke there.
Well, you may or may not have known that another managed WordPress host raised their prices. So that was my unpaid promotion for one of my clients.
Nice. I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at Jason Tucker on Twitter. My website is jasontucker.blog. And this particular episode is brought to you by Presslinks. You can go to presslinks.com and learn all about all the cool stuff that you can find out on the internet. Presslinks.com. All right. So we've been rude. Amy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Feel free to promote your favorite web hosting solution or something.
I don't think you people want to know who I use. It's a local company here in Arizona. I'm Amy Donohue. I have been a social media junkie since the days of MySpace when I started stand-up comedy and radio here in Scottsdale. And I have been a consultant since 2005, 2006, helping small businesses with their social media. I do management and training, and I am in the cannabis industry, helping people, mostly startups, get off the ground the right way with social media. Oh, you can find me, I'm the fabulous one, all spelled out, one word, on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. LinkedIn is my favorite, as well as Snapchat. I'm TFab1 on Snapchat.
Nice. Well, good to have you on today. Good to have you on. We've this particular topic comes up all the time for Bridget and I, and it sounds like it's come up a lot for the two of you as well in your past lives, and just kind of seeing the fact that having some type of either spatial awareness or situational awareness as to like what's going on around you is a huge thing, especially when you're talking about, the way in which you're trying to present the customer or the client or even your own business out to the world and saying, hey, here's some stuff that's going on. Oh, wait, what's going on with the rest of the world here? We kind of feel like we're living in a bubble a little bit. And so, we thought with the type of work that you do, the clients that you have, the stuff that both you and Bridget have done, you sound like a perfect person to have on the show to kind of talk about this stuff. So, what do you think about having situational awareness when it comes to either events that happen in the world or just, things within your particular industry?
Honestly, when it comes to, when I think of a national crisis, like we were just talking about the recent shooting in Florida, I feel as a society, people are just so self-absorbed that they think that even though the world is still revolving, that it's always going to be business as usual. And I was raised by a hippie. It's kind of, to me, a sign of disrespect to not say, hey, we need to do this right now, and your tweets can wait. Your business is not going to shut down in the next 4 hours because you are having some tact and etiquette online by respecting what's going on and letting the news come through and not have it be all garbled up with your sale tweets.
Which also means that you don't want to, for instance, when everybody was dunking water on top of themselves for that particular campaign, I wouldn't have done that in California if we were having a drought. You know what I mean? Like that probably wouldn't have been a good time to make like the whole water challenge thing, ice water challenge happen in a drought season. Like that probably shouldn't be the best time to do it. Those sorts of things. If there's like dog food companies should be very careful when somebody finds out, like recently there was some type of issue with some dog food where they had to do a big recall. you got to be careful around how you're kind of talking about those sorts of things. And I've seen some really great marketing, campaigns happen around that stuff, but it's more to bring, focus to the problem, not, go and say like, oh, not us, we're fine, but everyone else is messed up, So how would you approach that? Or how would either of you guys are the marketers, not me, but how would you approach that if there was a big incident that's happening and you have a campaign already kind of lined up with a schedule? Maybe they're not all automated. It's a schedule that you're like, this day I'm doing this day I'm doing this. How do you approach that?
Honestly, right now I just thought of September 11th. What if Twitter and everything had been around at that time? What would people have done? Back then, I think people would have paused and would have been more aware of tact and etiquette. I think the internet has actually ruined tact and etiquette over the past decade or so. Now, it's not a big deal, I don't think, to pause a schedule. But when I think of how things would have gone down in 2001 on the internet, and I might have gotten off track a little bit because it just popped into my head. But I think back then we would have been okay with pausing. But the society that we live in now, number one, everyone thinks everything's always business as usual. I'm so busy, I have so much to do. And Bridget knows this. This is my favorite phrase when it comes to social media. Everyone's me media and not social media. And social comes from being aware of what's going on around you as well. So it's the evolution of social media, which has become so anti-social that people don't pay attention to what's going out there. Or they set something up years ago to auto tweet somewhere and they don't pay attention to that. So, listen, I'm already riled up.
No, I mean, for me, it depends on my client. Like if the client doesn't request it, but in the past we've done that. But you have to resist so my philosophy has always been aggressive politeness, right? So everybody knows I'm super polite or whatever. And then like, I always feel like that's the best way to go no matter what. So when I was working at the advertising agency and we had Paul Davis as a client, they were like, what should we do when Hurricane Harvey came? Like it's really hard to resist the urge to chase an ambulance. But ambulance chasing is ambulance chasing. Whether you're a nonprofit and you're like, let's get money right now, or whether you're a business who might be getting business from that. If you start by helping people, you're always going to win. So if there is something happening, be the helper. I think Mr. Rogers used to say that, look for the helpers or whatever, right. But like be the person who's adding value as far as dispensing and retweeting and sharing information,
without a sale in it, without a
sale. No, because that's the whole part of like, for my clients, I schedule 2 weeks ahead for the ones who want it that way. But if otherwise I don't I really don't like scheduling more than 2 days ahead.
I don't like doing it too far in advance either.
You don't know what's going to happen. And you're right. Like back in the day, Imad Nafa was tweeting from the grave because he had an auto schedule.
I remember that.
Remember that?
He died and his tweets were still coming out.
She didn't know how to turn it off. I mean.
That's crazy.
It was so creepy. And then sad, the Twitter world was so much smaller then too, and people really understood it, but it had to be pointed out because you just don't think about it. I had a friend recently die, and within an hour, somebody had memorialized his Facebook profile.
Wow.
Somebody was aware of that just so something bad wouldn't happen. But the other one was several years ago.
Oh my gosh, it was like 2009, 10, something like that. And I mean, that was the first time where I saw that somebody had died that I never met in person and just sat at my desk and cried.
Yeah.
Because it was just amazing.
Well, that's how I met you.
I know. I mean, it's like I met all the great people on the internet, And that's the thing, is we forget there's another person on the other side.
Right.
And so that's the situational awareness that I think isn't there, like understanding who your audience is. What are they offended at? What, there is a certain demographic that's going to buy your products or your services or donate to your cause. And you want to like kind of have a voice that's going to get 85% of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the cannabis industry, you're not going to be advocating for
against
DEA
Jeff Sessions
or whatever.
We won't be advocating against Jeff Sessions while there's a school shooting. I can guarantee that.
So I'm just saying, like, you have to understand who your audience is, and that's a lot of business owners think that they know. It's amazing. Since I've been trying to get clients, I've talked to business owners, and they'll say either to me or to somebody else, "Oh, that girl thinks she knows marketing. She can help me with my business." Huh. Okay, well, I can, and I have, and I've done it. So, but like, clearly I'm not helping you now. Like that level of arrogance where you as the owner think you know everything, I think that's the first mistake.
Yeah.
That's the person who walks into a room, talking when everybody is crying because they just found out somebody died. Now, I used to be that person.
Foot and mouth syndrome.
No, I'm serious. Like, I had to learn that because, like, I remember distinctly in high school, it was yearbook day. Everybody was sitting around crying, and I'm always the one that uses humor to, like, get rid of a tense situation. So I'm like, what, did somebody die or something? It was my favorite chemistry teacher, Dr. Avedition. So yeah, like, be aware. Like, sometimes that means looking around and not talking. So on social, it means not posting. What?
Do you expect that in society nowadays, Bridget?
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what makes the difference. Like, remember, we used to get a lot of mail. Now it's a lot of email. And today, my client got a handwritten card. Well, that means something now because of the opposite. So I think novel. I think that we can show if the flag is down, like, how about this as a rule? If the flag is at half mast, maybe simmer down a little bit.
Yep. And what's crazy is, like, no joke, there, not to get all nerdy technical or nothing, but there's like the half mast flag has an API.
What?
like there is a way that you can, like, query an API to figure out is our flag at half mast right now or not? And if it is, then you should probably do something a little different. So if you're a social media person, I mean, there's websites you can go look on to see if the flag's half masts or not. And you can just halfmast.us, if I remember correctly, is the site. Huh. And you can just go on there and just see, is it, because, like, I have a Chick-fil-A between me and my house, or me and my work. And so, or my work and my house. And so when I'm driving to work, I'll see the flag, out there, and I'll see it at half mast. And I'm like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And I go to work and I look it up real quick. I'm like, oh, somebody died. Oh, this and that happened. Oh, it's a special holiday. Oh, it's a whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. But, a lot of stuff needs to go into making, having that flag go at half mast. And
so that song? Everybody stop, listen. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going around. Pay attention.
Pay attention. Exactly. Yeah. Halfmast.org is the site. And I think it'll even do, like, it'll send you notifications. There's probably a Twitter account for it. I mean, this stuff just goes, it gets legs and just goes crazy. But yeah, definitely look into those sorts of things. So what about when something like this does happen and not that you want to take advantage of the situation, but you want to show that there's some compassion with it and you have some type of a little bit of that compassion towards the event that's happening? How do you approach that? Like, if there's, like, a hurricane that happens, or somebody gets flooded out or what have you. I mean, there has to be a way that you can still use social media to show that that you have.
You can actually ask questions and not show.
Right.
I like during the hurricanes, I'm a weather nerd, so I was glued to them, and I tweeted out to different organizations in Puerto Rico, what can we do? Are there any charities that are being set up for this so that I can help spread the word? I do not post something like thoughts and prayers to you, because that doesn't do anything for anybody. I think that that's very empty, and it's too easy to do and doesn't mean anything. Thoughts and prayers on the internet doesn't do anything except for make the person who typed it feel better. So that I get so stabby when I see that. Like, come on, do something, call your local Red Cross or something, or retweet some of the stuff that's going on out there, but never, ever, ever make it about you, because saying thoughts and prayers to them is making it about you, not them. So just listen, shut up and listen. Retweet the relevant information that's out there. Bridget, you brought up an interesting point that I wanted to ask you about. I don't let my clients know when I'm doing a pause for them, because I think that they trust me enough to know that I'm going to make the right decisions for their brands. And I've never had a client say, hey, how come, I haven't seen any tweets in a couple hours? I haven't seen a Facebook post in a couple hours. I think people assume that it's okay. But I never even tell my clients, that's the way it is. They're paying me for something. So I just go on and do my job.
Yeah.
How do you approach that?
Well, some are more hands-on than others. So the ones that just trust me to do what I do best, I just do it.
Right.
But, I've had, now that I'm on my own, I do it a lot of the same way that we did at Thought House. And we had these giant brands. And they're big, giant corporate machines. And so, sometimes we would just pause it, not tell them sometimes. But like, they're also paying us for that regularity. So at most, we only tweet 3 times a day anyway. So I stop with the organic. Like, I just go on and like start retweeting FEMA or something like that.
Right. Right. You don't need any chit chat. People
would you
on a river on a raft don't need chit chat.
Would you provide your client with the knowledge that that sort of thing is happening and that maybe they need to approach their things a certain way?
Absolutely.
I've definitely told my clients about it and just say, hey, I think it was Sandy Hook, which was the one that I just said, we won't be tweeting today. I took the day off as far as social media work, because I let them know, I said, it's just really inappropriate and tacky right now. And my clients know how hard I work for them. So that's not a big deal. But I did take that day off, not even just for not tweeting out the wrong thing, but for my own sanity. It's so saturating when you're online like that. So when I'm pausing, I am personally pausing too. I'm not looking at anything. It's very overwhelming for me.
And I'd imagine that they probably get a really horrible return on investment by even running anything during an event that's happening like that. I mean, if they're paying you per tweet, or they're paying you per, update, or they're paying you per blog post, or paying you per whatever, I wouldn't want to pay for that during the time in which something like that's happening. And I think if somebody asks you to do something like that during that time, you really need to look at it and say, like, is this, is this justifiable? Like, should we actually be posting this at this time? Just because it's on the schedule, we should probably think a little differently about it.
Yeah, Amy and I are really
flexible.
Right.
You can't, your marketing calendar, your content calendar, all your calendars have got to be flexible. Like Bridget said, posting 2 weeks out. I can't imagine doing that, because in cannabis, things change every day. And I would have to go back. It would take me more time to go back and edit. So sometimes on Mondays, I will schedule enough for each client, a couple a day that I know newsworthy, but relevancy as far as time isn't as important. But I would still reschedule those for later in that day or the next day if it were that important to go out.
Yeah, it's mostly like evergreen stuff, Jason, and honestly, the thing is, I just kind of like back away from the keyboard, but if it is a business opportunity, I will tell them my perception as a social media consultant is being the boots on the ground. So if I see something going down, I tell my clients. Now, one of my clients did tell me, and this is industry specific, where WP Engine raised their prices and they sent emails out. Well, I'm not their customer. I'm with SiteGround and Bluehost. So, and everybody knows that, so it's fine. Like, but Pressable emailed me and said, well, this is kind of going down right now, so just be aware. And I said, oh, I would not jump on that. I would not be ambulance chasing that. That nobody likes that, because so whether it's a national disaster or a company has made kind of a controversial decision, you don't want to be the ones that pounce. You want to be like, well, we do have managed hosting and we do have a free CDN and here's our information if somebody asks. But you don't start pounding that, because what you're going to do is you're just going to engage the people that are angry and upset, So you don't, like, that's not even a good strategy. Like, even in a micro industry shift, you don't really want to pounce. Like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Windows and Apple did this, where they helped each other out because they both are better if they're competing. So that's kind of the way our economy works out. And then if you're in something that's really niche and has to do with strains and flavors and batches, small batch craft breweries, small batch wineries, probably the cannabis industry with different flavors and strains, that's going to be like a restaurant that changes their menu every day. So you can't be too ahead on that, but you can do things that are kind of evergreen. But at the same time, like, I feel like there's enough that can keep things going on life support without being like bam, 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 pushing too much. That's just my, and while we have Amy here, Jason, we have to talk about avoiding the temptation of jumping on a trending hashtag just because it's trending. Now, the classic example is hashtag why she stayed. And what was it? DiGiorno's pizza. This said because of pizza. That shit show turned back on them huge.
Oh my word.
So Amy, like, trending hashtags, what is your advice about that on social media? Because when things happen, there's usually a hashtag.
Well, use it for what it's for. Here's the thing, and we could probably end after what I'm about to say. I think that people spending so much time behind the screen has made them forget etiquette. They've forgotten how they're supposed to act, and they've forgotten manners, how they're supposed to behave. They forgot how to respect stuff around them, because everybody is so used to just communicating behind a screen, saying whatever they want, because not thinking that there's any, there's not going to be any backlash or anything like that. I think that people just think that whatever they do behind a screen is okay. And it's not. It's not. One of the things I hate is being steamrolled on LinkedIn, as you know, and we'll get to the hashtags in a second. I now remove people from connections or respond with, looks like you need some social media help. When you're ready to learn how to professionally use it, let me know. So I do capitalize on that. I will. But I truly believe that the pausing and the steamrolling over national tragedies just to get an ad out there is just a lack of etiquette that's come from too much use of electronics. I don't know if I'm right. So
no, you are. It's dehumanizing.
If you don't know what a hashtag is on Twitter, it's for search, but also to show you what's trending. And what I always do when I see a trending topic is I click on that hashtag to see the tweets related to it, so I know what the F I'm talking about.
What? This is new information to most of us. Who had any idea that that's what a hashtag was for? I thought it was for making sentences that didn't make any sense and don't put any spaces in there.
Don't even start.
Because I will hang up right now. I am like the hashtag Nazi of the world. If I see one on Facebook, I will literally punch you in the face when I see you.
People go at work. So I go, really? When's the last time you clicked on a hashtag on Facebook?
You can't track it. Oh my God, this is a whole other discussion. But anyway, when we're talking about even the Olympics, when when you see the trending topics, the point of those is to become a part of that conversation,
Right.
see what people are saying, show your support by jumping into conversations or retweeting, emergency information or whatever. Use trending topics for what they're for. Trending stuff.
Master of the obvious.
Not pizza.
But I wouldn't say that you always want to put the trending topic hashtag in all of your tweets, because you're just adding noise to the signal, right?
And you show that you don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Right. Don't just
because what'll end up happening is if you put in a hashtag that doesn't relate to what you're like, if you're writing a post, you're writing a tweet, and then you go and look for like the top hashtags, grab the top ones and throw them in there, thinking that you're going to get a little bit of juice by doing that. You very well could be, especially if it's not in your native tongue.
I will call you out.
You could totally make you can make yourself look really bad.
If you're an opportunist with hashtags, you're a douchebag. There's no better word for that.
Definitely.
If you're using a trending topic to sell your damn windshield replacement service, hashtag Sandy Hook.
That would not be good.
I would that's when I get on the phone and say,
I love you so much. Like, this is why we invited you on the show, because I have been saying this, and people look at me like I'm crazy, like, but the hashtag is trending. But it's trending for something that has nothing to do with you or your business at all.
Right. Don't need to jump on that for opportunity. Like, again, etiquette and tact. It's not that hard, people.
I don't get it. I don't get why people...
Would you do that in real life if you were in a group and all of a sudden there's a major pile-up accident outside the restaurant? Are you going to be that douchebag taking a selfie in front of the wreck? Because that's what that is.
You go hand your business card to everybody.
But if you put hashtag Red Sparrow after it, then you're okay, right? I mean, that's one of the trending topics.
Oh my
no.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the thing is that especially with some of these hashtags, if they're a hashtag that someone's thrown some money behind, they're going to have an emoji next to it or some type of FOMOji or something that just kind of sits around with it. And, you don't want to have your brand associated with something that's the wrong thing, like that Red Sparrow thing. That's a movie that's coming out. It's like, if your tweet has something to do with that movie, cool. But if not, don't put that on there. Like, there's another one that's happening. It's thank God it's Thursday. TGIT. Like, that one's being used right now. I mean, there's how to get away with a scandal is another one that's being used right now. So, like, I don't know. I mean, if it's something that's interesting, definitely hop on. But if it's not, if you're not adding to it, then you're just making yourself look dumb.
And like a lower level version is, I've tried hashtag games before. So like Midnight does this on Comedy Central or whatever. Replace something in a movie title. I've done that with like WordPress a song. I think I did with WordCamp LAX. I was trying to make that a fun game, like put WordPress in a song title, and it was just me.
It was just you.
because that audience doesn't play hashtag games. They don't watch Midnight. I don't watch Midnight on Comedy Central, but I'm on Twitter enough to see that they do this.
Yeah, they're such a great... I love that they use Twitter. I really do, because it's my favorite and nobody else uses it anymore.
Right. It's my favorite. And it's just funny, like, that's what I'm saying, how they just no. Just 7-layer bean dip of no. It's just like so that's what I'm saying. Like, you could try to make even not something trend, but you could try to engage your audience with it. But if they don't do it, it's not going to work.
Yep.
So when situational awareness means to walk into a situation and be aware. So it's understanding the dynamics, what is happening, who's talking to who. Is this a party? Is this a funeral? Like, if you see a picture, do you know? No, you hear the people talking. Look around you. I play this game in bars, and I was on this date, And I told the guy, I go, if I'm looking away, I just have this habit of like looking at people, groups of people, and deciding what's happening. Who are those people? What are they doing? Is some guy the boss? Is somebody else kissing up? Are they breaking up? Are they married? Are they together? And he's like, oh, that's really interesting. What do you mean? And I do this everywhere I go, and I tell people. And when I was in Ottawa, I actually was with a bunch of WordPress friends, and they said, what's happening? I go, those guys are breaking up. They go, no, they're not. I'm like, she's reaching like this across the table with her hands like inside of her sweatshirt, and he is going backwards and backwards and backwards. And they go, no, she's not. I go, watch. And so they all turned around and watched. I'm like, not that, obviously. And of course, they left separately, right? So I was right. It was a bad date that went bad. And then she was like, and he just kept going backwards and backwards. Because you could see a lot by body language. Well, on the internet, you could do the same thing. Look at your open rates in your newsletters. What are people resounding with? What works with them? Because not all audiences are created equal, right? That girl's probably on a date tonight and super happy. But in July, she was breaking up with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a demographic for everyone. And you have to watch and see what happens. And you have to test and experiment. But don't try to push the limit just to push the limit.
Exactly. Unless you're skydiving.
Well, I mean, you better like take some lessons or do the kind where the guy is like attached to you.
I don't do stuff that requires a helmet.
I love that. I put that on my Bumble profile. I said I'm not going to zip line off of what's the mountain that Mount Everest with you. I'm just not doing it. So everybody zip lines.
How long should you stay paused after one of these things? Like what do you do with that?
That is so interesting to me. I think it really depends on the situation. I don't see why a day of pause for a school shooting, or at least, the bulk of that day until the evening, maybe. It's so hard to give a time frame on something. Going back to if it had been September 11th, that would have been a couple days. Mm-hmm. That there should not be business going on online at that time. We have no idea what happened, and we just went through a living hell. When it comes to hurricanes and things like that, again, it just depends. I think you can be tactful by not being too salesy, of course, not using any hurricane hashtags while you're using it, and
or gifts.
Just maybe back off just a little bit and let the news come through. Let the accounts that are helping people, let them come through, because that's what I think of pausing as. It's not just showing respect for what's going on, but for letting the stuff that's important come through, because we've got Jen Miller on here. So your house for sale doesn't matter when someone's is being blown away by water and wind in Florida, like it's just tact and etiquette. And again, I just think people don't think. They don't care about what's going on outside of their little bubble.
So
They're
sometimes
too self-absorbed.
Sometimes the business is in the area that's affected. Like, what would you say to somebody in?
Why don't you go out there and help? That's what I say. Yeah. Get off your effing computer. Get off your effing phone. Go out there and help. Don't take pictures. Don't take selfies of yourself helping people, because that's tacky. And that would really, really blow back on you online. That's opportunist.
I've been watching I watch the news. I watch the news every morning, and I watch it for about 15 to 20 minutes. I turn it on. I have it. I get the local news, and then it switches over to the Today. I think it's the Today show, the morning show that they do. And so I get a little bit of the morning news. I hear what the weather's like, whatever. And then I hear what's happening nationally. And what I've been seeing lately is on the national news is that, we talk about the school shootings, and they start talking about that stuff. And then they go back and they're like, these kids are now going back to school and this and that. And then they start talking about how like there are companies that sell Kevlar backpacks. So like, oh yeah, there's these Kevlar backpacks that you can buy now. And no joke, I kid you not, watching the show, the backpack had the logo about this big on the backpack. And I'm like, wow, like this feels like it's an advertisement for Kevlar backpacks.
Tacky.
It was.
Right? I mean, it was
that, but who's wearing their backpack while they're in the classroom, dumbass?
well, I know, but like
Nobody.
they're showing the kids pick up the bags and hold them in front of themselves and all this different stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know how to how to describe like how just weird this feels that I'm watching this thing about. I mean, it's like they're gonna put like, you know, Kevlar book wraps or something, like those sorts of things. But it's just that, not the idea of the whole shooting stuff, but just the idea that like they went back days later or weeks later, and now they're talking about like, here's some products, not without saying that they're products, but like showing these kids holding these things. I'm like, why are all these kids holding backpacks up? Oh, they're Kevlar backpacks. And I'm like, Kevlar backpacks, really? Like, but all the brands are facing outward towards the camera, and I'm just like, ugh. You know,
Tacky.
That was a producer.
Yeah, tacky.
That producer made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's some of the things, and I'm sure Amy will agree, there's never a good time.
Right. Yeah, never a good time. I mean, if you're a school, if you're a company that sells school pencils and pens and that sort of thing, maybe hold off on talking about school stuff after a school shooting type of thing. That has to be difficult, and you know, there's been a decent number of them. But I'd imagine that there's other things as well. Like, I guess if you sell, say, like if you live in a hurricane area, talk about the hurricane stuff that's happening before the hurricane occurs. But telling people to go buy like a shelter that you can install in your backyard after it happens, I mean, that's just like shove it in and twist, you know, that's not good.
You ain't got no bed, but you got a shed.
Right? Exactly.
Timing matters.
It's all about timing. Yeah, do that stuff early. Like, you know that hurricane season's coming up. Start talking about hurricane stuff before the hurricane happens. Don't talk about it after the fact.
Or when hurricane season is coming, you can really make a dent ahead of time and say, hey, here's some things you can do to prepare. What if it gets nasty again this year? So, I mean, you can be tactful about it by helping. You're helping people prepare for something that could potentially happen.
I guess Kevlar backpacks don't have a season where selling shelters for your backyard definitely has a season. So, you know, you gotta be kind of careful in the way you approach it.
Yeah, but okay, so Kevlar is necessary. SWAT teams have it, police force has it, you know, the military has it. That's great. Okay. If you want to sell it to kids or whatever, I wouldn't be doing it on a news station. Okay. I would be doing it on the internet. It just seems
so. Is that
like I'd be
I just feel like taking advantage of kids and the fear the parents have.
Yeah, you're right. I was trying to think of how that was affecting me and what was bothering me most about it. You're kind of exploiting the children. And I'm not even one of those people that looks for that stuff. I'm not sensitive or overly affected by stuff. But to me, that is kind of like using the kids for your own pursuit for business. I don't think I said that right, but
no, but it is the exploitation of children for profit. So I mean, sure, if there's a pedophile that's roaming, I remember when I was in first grade, they told us don't go with a guy in a white van. He was bad. That's all they said, right? But like, you don't even think about that. But now they'd be like, buy this tracker for your kid, and you know, I mean,
here's a moat and drawbridge for your house.
You know, or I mean, you're not going to sell, you know, chicken jerky to at a vegan conference, okay? Like, just be aware. You know, I just feel like there's so many times people just don't get why you're out of place. In Sesame Street, they spent a long time teaching us when we were little kids. One of these things is not like the other, okay? So, like,
don't be that one.
We should be aware that things are not, you know, what doesn't belong here, you know? And so there's timing, there's, when in doubt, when I used to play in a band, they would say, when in doubt, lay out. Like if you're not sure how the song's going and you're not picking up on that, you're not hearing it, just don't play. We don't need your instrument. It's okay. So I would say that's still good social media advice, right? When in doubt, lay out.
Right.
Just take your hands
Your
off the
business is
keyboard.
not going to shut down if you don't tweet for a day.
Right.
Yep.
It's true. If you don't put something on Facebook for one day, your business will be fine. I promise.
Totally. And then as the business owner, engaging in these debates publicly.
Are you talking about me as a business owner?
No,
I love engaging about debates.
I know.
I'm really good at being right. No, just kidding. I will admit when I'm wrong. But I think I'm so passionate about social media that I do get very soapboxy, especially about things like this. But again, like you said, be aware of what's going on. Open your eyes, people. Shut your mouth, open your eyes, open your ears, and see what's going on around you. When stuff like this happens, treat it with respect and tact and etiquette.
So, like, the opposite is Oreo during the Super Bowl when the lights went out. You could still dunk in the dark. They were there. They had a team.
That's campy and that's not dangerous. The lights going out was not.
No, right. That's what I'm saying. It's the opposite. Like, that was a win.
It was. Oreo always does a great job. Whoever they have, their marketing has always been one of my favorites out there. But that was funny.
They were prepared. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That they made their team aware. They were available. They could make a decision quickly, and they did it. And I saw that tweet before my husband walked out of the room to say the lights went out. That's how good it was. So you can be. That's not an emergency, but you can.
But that's responsive.
You can be responsive, and it could be a win for your brand. Absolutely.
You probably shouldn't have brought that up, Bridget, because I could just imagine, and I'm not using this for any other reason than Jen is on and talking about real estate, but there's going to be some real estate agent out there who's driving to an unaffected neighborhood after a hurricane saying, "Need to relocate?"
Oh my God.
I got the best house for you. Hashtag Harvey.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody probably did it.
Somebody probably did it.
But the thing is, they're slimy. That's the used car ambulance chasing. That's why we talk about it. You don't want your brand to be a joke. I wrote a whole, like Jen said, hashtag not a joke. I wrote a whole thing like, you don't want your brand to be a joke. So stop treating it that way.
Or being a dick online.
Oh, definitely.
You don't want your brand to be a douchebag. Douchebag's a safe word. Don't be a douchebag.
Yeah, just so much no. I wish that I could save people from themselves, but people told me sometimes, Bridget, they don't want help.
They need to fail so that we can all sit back and point and laugh.
What not to do? Like, those magazines that says, don't wear those pants with that shirt, and they black out the person's eyes. Like, I just want to do that for social media all day long.
If everyone was smart, we wouldn't have the Darwin Awards, and we need to make sure we still have the Darwin Awards, right?
Do those still exist?
Yeah, they still exist.
Oh my God.
They need to fail so they can hire you. That's awesome, Jen. I love that. But I have told people, you know what? I actually called a brand out, but then I DM'd them and said, people can't see this. Like, it could go anything from, she stayed because of pizza, hashtag a Bruce, being an asshole during a national disaster or traumatic event, to like, your brand color is super light pink and you're putting white text on it and nobody can read it. So that's really great that you have a rosé that's out and it's coming, but we have no idea what you're saying on Instagram. So, because we're over 40 and we're the people who buy rosés, you dumbasses. Like, you just want to go like, why does anybody not know that that's bad? And the 30-year-olds are all, I can read that. I'm like, right, because you're 30 and your eyes haven't degenerated yet.
I think people try too hard on Instagram with those anyway.
That's true.
Canva ruined Instagram.
Oh, I love Canva so much. So that's going to be your tool tip of the week.
Yeah, let's talk about tip of the week. We got our last 15 minutes. We always devote to tip of the week. So let's go around and talk about a tip that we want to share. And just so Amy knows how this works. So the tip of the week is not just, your favorite app or your favorite website or your favorite whatever. It could be anything. And, we're talking about social media stuff. So hopefully if you could tie it into some social media type thing, that'd be awesome. What do you got, Bridget?
Okay, well, I've been working. I'm a volunteer for the Make WordPress marketing team. And we've been doing a lot of actual projects lately. And one of them was for SEO. And so that's why I was thinking about the Hemway app last week. But a lot of people don't know about suggest mode on Google Docs.
What? Really?
Yeah. So like I've had to make a rule for my contributors that if there's text already there, instead of just typing over it, please use suggest mode. And suggest mode is so awesome. And it's so fun. One of my other clients, I've been able to show them Google Drive. And, instead of worrying about like having this on this computer and this on this computer, she just emails me stuff. Put this in Google Drive, put this in Google Drive, put this in Google Drive. It's awesome. Like we get so used to that as a way that we collaborate and work with other people. That
I love Google Drive.
Yeah. Convert everybody to Google Drive and use suggest mode. That's my tip of the week.
I think you might have to teach me that because I don't think I know it. Is that when you can put the little notes on the side?
No, that's commenting. So there's editing, suggesting, and commenting.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Oh.
All right, you want me to go next? Or do you want to go next, Amy?
You're the host, so I'll go next so you can close out the show.
Sure, let's do that.
As a heavy LinkedIn user, and since we're talking etiquette tonight.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. I'm on there
Fridays.
I'm on there for probably an hour or two a day.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I utilize groups. I made $12,000 in 3 months from 2 clients finding me in 2016 just from keywords and being active on there. So wow. I love LinkedIn. It's also cannabis friendly, so I don't have to worry about getting shut down there. Tact and etiquette on LinkedIn. My birthday was a couple weeks ago, and I got birthday congratulations from people that included their website, a meme with their ad on it. LinkedIn is like a networking group. If you walk into a room and you don't know anybody, you kind of hear people talking, just like Twitter. You jump into a conversation. You find out about people. It's called social media, not me media. And stop trying to sell so much. Stop with the mass emails on LinkedIn. Be genuine and be organic. You have the time to do it, because you can get off of Facebook for 15 minutes and go over to LinkedIn. But at least be genuine on LinkedIn, because I can't tell you how many people I message back and say, did you just send me an advertisement with my birthday greeting?
Happy birthday, Amy.
Thank you. But they didn't even realize they had done anything wrong.
That's awesome.
That's the part
that's the part that makes me pull my hair out. This is so wrong. How do you not know this?
It's just, please just be a real person. You don't need to automate on LinkedIn. You can't automate friendships. You can't automate relationships with clients. You have to be real.
Oh my gosh. Some people's kids. I would pay good money to watch you use LinkedIn. Primarily just so I could learn how to actually use LinkedIn. I have no idea. Yeah, if you just like throw it on Twitch or something, be like, hey, here, I'm gonna show you how to use LinkedIn for half an hour. I'd sit there and watch that because I go on LinkedIn every time I lose a job and I update my resume, and that's about it. I don't really go on LinkedIn.
Did you say Twitch? I gotta tell you, I just discovered Twitch about 2 months ago because I play one Xbox game, which is Black Ops 2 Zombie Mode. It's the only game I play because my niece got it for me. And I had to go on there to see a guy demonstrate one of the things I was trying to do in the game. And it's the first time I heard about it. It was like 2 months ago. I'll be happy to give you a LinkedIn lesson.
That would be hilarious. There, all these people are like, Call of Duty, LinkedIn? What? This chick's like, explain how to use LinkedIn. This is crazy. And the comments would be insane on there, right? It would be like nonstop, a bunch of little 13-year-olds just like saying a bunch of really bad things to you while you're trying to use LinkedIn.
Well, I play with them because I play online with what I'm assuming are 14-year-old boys. Right? I don't talk to them, but yeah, I can hear them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that'd be funny. So my pick of the week is an app that I've played around with a little bit, and I would love to start using it more. It's an app called Audiogram, and what you do with Audiogram is you can record your voice, and it'll actually do a little, actually show you like the audio wave, the little sound wave while you're talking.
Cool.
But it records that and then makes it into a video so that you could use it on Instagram. So if you want to have something look a little different, this might be a way to kind of make that happen. So that's Audiogram.
Oh, it's only for Apple.
Well, yeah, this is the superior phone. So
of course. My tip of the week is find Apple phone.
My tip of the week is to leave the cult. Do you want to know why I hate Apple so much?
Oh, please. I want to know.
Yeah. When I had a laptop 2 laptops ago with iTunes on it. Laptop dies. I get a new laptop. I log into iTunes and none of my stuff is there.
Wow.
Because at the time you could not, it wasn't like an account that you could log into from anything and everything and access it. You had to re-download everything, repay for everything. And at that moment, I just said, Bill Gates is a philanthropist and I will support him. And I have a Samsung Galaxy S8, the sexiest phone on the market.
Nice. Well, I'd imagine there's somebody that has made some Audiogram type thing that makes a little voice wavy thing that will make you post to Instagram, because everybody likes to copy each other's stuff. And I'd imagine that there's somebody that's made something like that.
Well, I didn't see it, but I'll look more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look around and see. Anything else, Bridget? Well, while we got a couple more minutes until we close out. I'd love to, make sure that everybody gets their money's worth.
This is the thing. Pay attention to the news. Like that is, I am saying this to myself too, because I get busy and I don't always pay attention. So, just some basic AP Newswire stuff will let you know if there's anything that should cause you. Also, pay attention to what your audience likes. And I bet everybody in this audience knows my favorite way to understand your audience is put them on a list on Twitter and read their tweets. They tell you everything about themselves. You know who's watching. Altered Carbon, which, oh my God, I love that guy. I've loved that guy since The Killing. I loved him in...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Altered Carbon is a show on Netflix. I'm super behind on Netflix. But the guy that's in it is H.O.T. Hot. It's like a science fiction. It's like Blade Runner meets a murder mystery.
Oh, nice.
Like it's super sci-fi it's a little bit X-rated though. Like definitely your kids shouldn't be watching that, but it's fine.
I'm proud that you're watching it though.
44 years old, I'm almost 45. I'm sure I can handle it. But anyway, like I love murder mysteries. But anyway, my point is that I forgot. I started thinking about that actor.
I like the guy on the Trivago commercial. I don't know what TV show he's from. He looks like Brad Pitt's uncle. Or no, maybe Brad Pitt's cousin, because they're probably the same age.
I totally lost my train of thought.
Trivago.
Wow. So we stumped Bridget. That never happens on this show.
Oh my god.
Never happens on this
not
show.
Usually, because usually if I derail the train, I'm the one that puts it back on track. It's responsible derailment. And yeah, totally. What was the question?
I don't even know at this point, Bridget.
Oh, what we were watching on Netflix.
I know. Why was I talking about altered carbon?
Oh no, your mind went straight to that guy. You're like, yep, I gotta talk about this guy.
He's really handsome.
Amy, that's great about your Samsung, whatever. So about altered carbon, let me talk about that a little bit here. Oh my goodness.
Man. I bet I would just stop.
Hashtag Kevlar sucks.
Well, Amy, where can people, we'll wrap up. Amy, where can people find you and get more information about the stuff that you're doing and all the things you're doing within the world of cannabis?
My website is gethybridsocial.com. I'm all over Facebook, LinkedIn, Amy Donohue, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm the fabulous one. I love Snapchat more than anything. But I'm always down to talk social. I'm always down to talk etiquette. I'm always down to talk cannabis. But anything, I teach people of all industries how to do social media the right way for being a professional. Thank you so much. This has been really great. It's been fun.
It's only your like 8th Google Hangout for the day, but it's good that you were able to hang out with us and you've been playing Xbox this whole time, so you haven't like had to yell at any of those kids. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I haven't even been paying attention to you guys. I did not put my video game on pause for.
Oh man. Well, thank you very much, Amy, for being on and hanging out with Bridget and I. It's always good to talk with great people in the industry to be able to learn.
Yes, thank you.
About
I'm
this
honored.
and I really appreciate it. So you can go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com, click on the links there to subscribe. Feel free to go find information about our sponsor this week, which is PressLinks. You can go to presslinks.com where you can find all the cool stuff that PressLinks is posting over there within social media's stuff and social media, CSS. I'm just looking through the list of stuff they got here. They do some website stuff. They do, looks like that they are talking about like stuff on Smashing Magazine, Instagram. I mean, all the social media stuff. So feel free to go take a look at that stuff as well. And if you want to advertise, feel free to go over to WPwatercooler.com/sponsor, where you can learn all about that sort of stuff there as well. Talk to y'all later. You have a good one. Bye-bye.